Hello and welcome. Today I am going to get these sweet peas in the ground. They are yellow and they really need to get in. So let's not delay any longer. Let's get them in the ground. I have here a selection of sweet peas. I got two different varieties, and then I've also got some antirhinnum and some alyssum to go in. Oh, and some lupins to go in. We'll start at the back with the lupins. I'm just going to put some fish blood and bone in the pocket because I don't think I fertilised this bed when I set it up. I don't remember doing it anyway. And we'll put another one this side. Everything is sort of designed to mirror one another really. And the bed behind me, I'll do exactly the same. So as you sort of walk down the plot along the path, it's symmetrical both sides was what I had in mind. Oh, I forgot to put the fish blood and bone in, didn't I? There we go. Planted twice. Right. So what I'll do is I'll put one variety of sweet pea one side and one variety the other. So I've got roughly 16 stations to go either side of the pathway, and I'm going to do it in a radial or circle shall I say, so that they can grow up a teepee is the plan. This ground is really dry, so I'm probably going to use about 6 watering cans on here. Oh, I'm quite excited to get these sweet peas in the ground. So this one is Old Spiced Mix this side. At least the plug plants are a bit wet, so there is some moisture for them to keep going until they get their roots down. They always get sort of stuck on each other, don't they? There we are, there's the one that didn't grow anything. Put the compost in there though. I'm just going to put another bit of fish blood and bone in. And then just firm it in then. Okay, I think they're in okay now. So I'm just going to put some alyssum and some antirhinnum or snapdragons, whichever way you want to say, around the front. So I'm going to start with my mammoth watering of this bed now. Probably about at least 4 watering cans, I reckon. And I'll get those planted in this bed as well, exactly the same way. And I'll show you what I've got when I'm done. And this bed is all sorted out now. This variety is blue velvet. So the flowers will be blue for that one. I've got to get on a net one side. One side I've got a cloche to go over, but the other side I've got a net. So I'll do that and then we'll find something else to do. Here they are. Hopefully this will help them to grow bigger and then maybe the rabbits won't get them. This side I made from hoops, similar to this one, but the fleece on those hoops had got all badly damaged. So I just took the hoops off this and I've just left the other ones there for the time being so I know where they are. And this can join the pile for the dump. Right, let's go and have a look at my rhubarb because that's put up 2 flower spikes. So we'll go and see what's happening with that. Here are the flowers. They're very pretty, but I don't want them to flower. So I'm just going to get a knife and cut it off at the base there, and the same with the one next to it. It's actually nice to have something going in my compost heap other than clods of earth. Right, don't think there's any more anywhere. No. Great, hopefully now the energy will go back into making leaves, which is what we want. I'm pleased to say it looks like it's clouding over a bit now, and the reason why I'm happy it's clouding over is because my next job is going to be a really hard slog. Let me show you what I'm going to do. I am going to tackle this area here. So it would be nice if I could just sit here and watch life go by, but sadly I have a lot of work to do in this area, and one of the reasons I can't sit here really is because there's nettles growing right behind me. So if I lean back I'm going to get stung. So my first job to move the bench, my second job is to lift this astroturf and put it in the pile to take to the dump, and then my third job is to tackle the nettles and get out as much of those roots as I possibly can. So wish me luck for that. Oh, I also might tackle these here as well and just cut them up ready to go to the dump as well. The pallet wood it's no good, so it might as well go. Right, well I moved the bench easy enough, but I better move those first because this astroturf goes all the way along there. So if I wanted to lift it, I wouldn't get it very far because these would be holding it down. Right, let me get my saw. Typical, isn't it? I took my hat off because the clouds went and now they come back. Oh, I better get some goggles, hadn't I, for protecting my eyes. Yeah, this wood is so rotten, you couldn't do anything with it, so it might as well go to the dump. I'm just cutting them all down so they'll fit in my car. get in there, get in there. Right. Well, I think that's more or less it. Right, let's see how easy this astroturf comes up. What I want to do is I want to pull it out that way towards you guys so I can run the saw along it just to cut it into smaller pieces. Oh, right. Apologies for the heavy breathing, if there was any. I expect there was. Probably like Darth Vader there. This is heavy stuff, this is. See, I didn't really want to be working this close to the nettles and having a nettle stinging me in the face. But it doesn't look like there's any way around it. Right, I'm just going to switch my gloves to the ones that can touch the nettles. Let's make this into smaller chunks, because then it might be easier for me. Oh, this is a bigger job than I thought it was going to be. The other one came up easier. It lulled me into a false sense of security. Right, let's cut this little strip away, I suppose. It just has to be little and often, I suppose. Right, I better start working on these nettles. Let's see how I get on. I thought I'd stop the time lapse there because it's going to be a very long time lapse then if I carried on. Let me show you where I've got up to. So around this area here was some more of the astroturf, which is why I was getting so hard to pull up, because it had all got caught in the roots. These roots just go really far under the ground, but we are getting there. We are getting there. What I need to do is to pull out the long stems. I haven't got my shears with me to cut off the tops, which would be an easier way to do it. But if I go home and get them, I'll probably cease up a bit. So it's better for me to keep going with the momentum. So I'm just going to pull as many of the nettle stems out as I can and then dig away at the roots. So I'll keep trucking for as long as I can, and I'll show you what we've got when I'm really, really tired. I did it! The astroturf is all up. It's in lumps. I've still got some nettles to dig up. Let me bring you in for a closer look. So this clump of nettles here, it kind of looks like it's going under the shed, which is annoying because I can only dig so far, to get the roots out. So the chances are they might grow back if I don't get in really far. And what's annoying is I was expected to see patio slabs all the way up here, but there's not. So what the shed is actually sitting on, I'm not sure. So that's now another job added to the list, is to sort out the base of the shed. But that is tomorrow's problem. Well, when I say tomorrow's problem, maybe a month's time's problem. Let me show you the rest of the astroturf. This one here, this piece of astroturf was really hard to rip up because the nettle root was there and it was attached to there, and tug as much as I could not pull that out, so I ended up chopping it with the saw. And then the rest of the astroturf is in little piles here, which I shall move presently. And then this clump here, this is the clump that was by the shed, and I'm not sure if there's any astroturf in and amongst that, so all that will go to the dump, because I don't want to be putting any astroturf into my compost heap to rot down, or not rot down in this case, and then next year when I'm putting out my compost I find astroturf. Right, anyway, enough of this astroturf. And that astroturf is going to the dump first thing in the morning. I have booked the first slot in the morning at 9 o'clock. So that astroturf and everything that I've taken out today will go to the dump. Even this side of the car is full of wood. So it feels like it's been a good day. Let me pull out as many of those nettles as I can now, and I'll show you what it's like at the end of the day, or when I can do no more. So if we go in for a closer look, these stones here were all along here with the nettles, the nettle roots all interlinked with them. You can see here that nettle root I cannot get out because it's gone right under the shed. So I've also got one going there. You can see all the roots there. And then I've got this patch of nettles here, but I didn't do them this time because there's lots of wood and bamboo canes and things that will take a long time, and I thought that was a job for another day. Once I've got this done, if I went on to do that job now, I wouldn't have done it very well. I would have just I'd have rushed it, and not got out all those nettles. So yes, I'm pleased with that. Oh, I can lean all the way back on the bench now, so that's good, isn't it? I'm very happy with clearing out this area, and I had a thought that what I might do is put my compost heaps where this bench is. So I've left a bit of a gap here so that I can put a water butt in and sort out any problems here. Of course I need to tackle the shed job as well at some point, and the nettles behind there. But I thought if I put my compost heaps in here, instead of digging up all the nettles that side, then basically I can get my compost heaps in a lot quicker. So that's what I think I'm going to do. I think I'm going to put my compost heaps in this side. If you can think of any reason why I shouldn't put my compost heaps in this side, please let me know. But as always, I'll have a think about it and I'll probably do something completely different. Right, on to the next job. I have an update for you about my experiment about the rabbits eating the onions. So in my last one, I don't know if you remember, but I took the cover off 4 of my onions to see if the rabbits would eat them. And so far, it's looking good. They haven't eaten any of them. However, this bed is incredibly weedy, so I think I'll have to weed the bed. But that's good because I will be wanting to put tomatoes down the middle of the onions. So eventually I will need to take the netting off the onions. So fingers crossed that the rabbits won't eat the onions or the tomato plants when I get around to planting them and taking the nets off. That's good though. Since I weeded this bed and I've got the covers off, I thought I'd give you a quick look at how the crops are doing underneath. So these are the spring onions, which are looking good. I'm pleased with how they're looking. And then these next couple of rows are the Kelsey onions. And this one is going particularly well if I compare it to the Ailsa Craig next door to it. So the Kelseys are doing good, but I have got a couple of missing stations for them. So I might end up moving a couple so that we can maximise the space a bit better, but I'm not sure about that. And then got the Ailsa Craig here. They're doing well by the look of them. Mostly clumps of 3 really. And they tend to grow quite happy multi-sown Ailsa Craig. And then these last 3 lines, well, that 4th one as well at the top, are Regensburger, which I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, to be honest, but apologies if I've mispronounced it. But they seem to be doing well as well. I've not grown these ones before, so it's nice to see how they're getting on. So I'll get the nets back on these and I'll find something else to do. One of the jobs that I really needed to get done, probably last month really, but it's not too late, I think anyway, is to plant my tubers, my dahlia tubers, which grew in these pots last year, and I took them out at the end of the growing season and I just left them in my greenhouse in a tray, just exposed with the old compost on them, and that's where they've been ever since. So now I'm using the greenhouse for other things. I thought, well, I better get around to planting them. So this is what one of the tubers is looking like. And what I've done is I've got some spent compost at the bottom, which I've put some fish blood and bone and some perlite in, and I've also added loads of water to it to rehydrate the soil because it was quite dry, and now I'm just going to fill around the tuber. So I'm just filling it up, and then I'm going to give it a little shake. And the reason I'm giving it a little shake is I want to make sure that the compost is going in and amongst where those tubers are, so that the whole thing is in contact with the compost. So I think that should be okay. And then I'm just going to fill it up a bit more. This is fresh compost I'm using on top with some perlite and some fish blood and bone in it. And then this is last year's stalks, or stems, whichever you look at. So I'm just filling it to where the crown of the tuber is rather than the stalks. So I'll get on and do the other two now, and hopefully they will come back to life. They've got more of a chance of growing if I pot them up, haven't they, than if I just leave them. They definitely won't grow that way. So hopefully next to our blueberries there, we'll have some lovely different coloured dahlias. So they're all planted up now. I just need to give them a good watering in, and hopefully we'll see some stems poking out of that compost very soon. Right, once I've watered, we'll find something else to do. A very exciting job I need to do now is to sow my beans, my climbing beans. I've got a couple of varieties, so I'll show you them in a minute. But first of all, I need to clear what is in here now. My tulips have gone over. I've got some weeds growing, and I've got some pansies that I can move to a different bed. So we need to get that done. I've got a barrel to bring in from the back garden. That's going to go roughly where that calendula plant is there. So I think I'm going to have to sadly lose that calendula plant, which is a shame because it's growing so well. But I don't think I'll be able to get the barrel in without damaging the calendula plant. So it did self-seed itself. So it should have self-seeded itself a bit further forward. Right, let's get the weeds out of here, refresh the compost, bring that barrel around, and then we can put up our teepees and plant some beans. So these are all old tulips. They come away quite easy. And that one's a weed. Let's pop that down there for a minute, and we'll get a pot to put it in a bit. Actually, I'm not going to bother with these pansies because they're not looking great, are they? Although maybe that's because they haven't got much water. All right, let's give them a go. Let's give them a go. Go and plant them elsewhere. I have actually watered this, but it's still quite dry. Actually, I'm going to give it a water before I put some fresh compost on there. I'm just going to pop some fish blood and bone in here and work it in. And then the compost. Oh, I just realised I forgot to water the blinking compost before I put the new compost in. Let's put some more blood, fish and bone in. And can work it all in. There we are. Alright, that one's ready now. So let's get the other barrel in. So this is the barrel here that I want to move to the front. It's got very weedy, so I just need to give it a quick weed. Then I'm going to empty all the compost out of this barrel into my wheelbarrow, and then some way, shape or form, maybe I'll roll it around to the front. So I can move the barrels when there's nothing in them, but when they're full, I can't. So we'll have to empty it out. This barrel had a tree growing in it. I think it was a pear tree, but it died, so it wasn't used for anything then. I think I used it for beans last year, but the beans didn't grow, but the morning glory did. Right, stage 1 complete. Oh, there's a nice ant's nest in here. I can see them all going bananas. This pole was a stake that I put in here for the tree, but we don't need it in there now, so it can come out. Okay, we can move it now. It's about 2/3 empty. I didn't want to empty anymore because I found the ant's nest with all the eggs in it, so I don't really want to tip that out. They can stay in there, and I'll just slowly wheel it over. So I'm going to try and wheel it around just to save that calendula plant. But what I'll end up doing is killing the other two, I expect. Oh, I want it to be closer. Right, that's where it's going to stay. This compost is so dry. It's going to take ages to get this hydrated again. Okay. I'm going to put 6 canes in each teepee. Right, I'll just get the other one done and I will do some beans. So I've got a few beans here. I've got a Royal Burgundy from Ali, from my rusty garden, as are the Beef Bush Black Resilient, which I'm going to plant here. And then I've got French Blue Lake, and I've got 4 Greek Gigantes, which the lovely Ali from the Right Pear plot sent me last year. And Kerry from Dog on the Plot sent them to her that year. And I really wanted to grow them, but I never got around to planting them. So I'm going to plant them in a 30-litre bucket. And hopefully Ali will be able to see, because she's not making videos at the moment. We miss you, Ali. Hopefully she'll, if she gets, back into it, she'll come back soon. So yes, I'm going to grow these Beef Bush Black Resilient beans. And I'm just going to make a hole either side, and I'm going to plant a bean either side. And that way, if both beans come up, happy days. And if only one comes up, then, that's still good going. And we'll see how we get on with them. I do have some morning glory plants as well that I wanted to plant out, but I'm not sure whether they grow well with beans, so I'll need to check that before I plant them. So I'm just going to give these gallons and gallons of water now, and the answer is yes, Morning Glory can inhibit bean growth. It can grow vigorously and smother out the smaller plants. So I'll have to plant my Morning Glory somewhere else. I've no idea where, but anyway, I'm going to get on and sow my other beans somewhere else, and I'll probably show you, if I ever end up doing a plot tour again, I'll show you where they've ended up then. That's it from me for today. Take care everybody, and all I can say about my work today is lovely job.